So, I'm here to actually make a video about just a commentary video about Floyd Mayweather's exhibition match. He had an exhibition match with Logan Paul. And in the aftermath of all of that, a few, shows have talked about it. And I'm going to take this show first take with Stephen A. Smith and this guy, Max Kellerman. And that's what we're going to use as a background. And we're going to see or listen to what they talk about. And then I'm going to basically just, comment on some of the things that they talk about, just to, give a view of what I think they say, and just maybe, a few corrections here and there. Because it's been very interesting to watch and just see people talk about this match, this exhibition, really, between Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul, and how it somehow connects to boxing. And I seem to have a bit of a different view on it. So let's just listen to what these guys say and see what we can dissect out of it, and then maybe add some commentaries to it. So let's start with that.
Was last night's event good for boxing?
Stephen A., I'm curious to hear what you have to say on this, because I suspect I know.
So before they start here, I want to say that yes, last night's event, in this case the event on Sunday, the exhibition between Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul was very good for boxing, because what it does, it puts even more eyes on the sport of boxing. Now, let's be honest, people. The event was not a boxing match. It was not a full professional boxing match, but an exhibition. But let's be honest here as well. With Floyd Mayweather being involved in this fight, it means that a lot of people obviously took some time to not only look at the fight, but what else was happening around it. So this fight, this exhibition, it was very good for boxing. So I don't know what they're going to say, but let's see what Stephen A. and Max say to that.
I don't think it was good for boxing. I really don't. I'm disappointed in the state of Florida went a section about 35-pound difference. Floyd Mayweather came in heavier than he's ever been, usually fighting at 155 to 147. Fought at 155 last night. Logan Paul was at 189.5 pounds. It was like watching Rocky against Drago, for crying out.
Well, before Stephen A. here continues, I want to say something. I've seen this, and I don't understand why people seem to be somehow not understanding the concept around this bout. You see, it's an exhibition match, Stephen A. It's an exhibition match. So the weight and all that, the classes, they don't really play a relevant role in this type of exhibition, which is why it's an exhibition. You see, it's not a professional. It's not a sanctioned professional boxing match, but just an exhibition. It's just an exhibition. How many times does one have to really say that? These guys are all talking as if this was a match, in a boxing match between two professionals. And yes, there might be professionals, former boxing professionals, as in Floyd, and maybe a not so professional like a Logan, but it's an exhibition. It's not a full-fledged sanctioned boxing match. So I don't really understand why Stephen A. and the others are talking or approaching this bout as if it's an exhibition fight, because a real fight, because it's just an exhibition. So why he would be disappointed in it, I have no idea. But it's just for entertainment purposes, and that's what you should be looking at it. That's what you should be looking at. Entertainment, not if he's going to knock him out. Not me. He can knock him out. Floyd Mayweather. I mean here, if you wanted to, or Logan Paul, for all I care. But it's really for entertainment. Nothing more, nothing less.
I'm talking about before they actually started boxing. I'm just talking about the size, just the appearance. I just look at it from this perspective. I love what Logan Paul and Jake Paul have done in terms of showing the boxing public that there's a way to make this money. and to gain notoriety for yourself without being at the mercy of the promoters. If you want to say that it's good for boxing, I think that it's good from the standpoint that it puts pressure on the promoters, in my estimation, or it should put pressure for them to give us the fights that we want to see.
I'm going to stop Stephen A here and say something. Listen, if anyone is to get credit for any of this, it's Floyd Mayweather. If anyone is to get any, I repeat myself, if anyone is to get any credit, okay, for any of this, it's Floyd Money Mayweather. You know why? Because Floyd Mayweather is the guy who has opened a new class, you can say, a new arena of boxing, after the real professional boxing career. This guy is not fighting anymore. He's retired. And he somehow has found a way to make money for himself, giving others in the process even more opportunities, like a Logan, like a Conor, like the Japanese guy that he fought the other day, giving them opportunities to make even more money. All right, whatever comes off of it, whatever effect comes off of this, the pressure on promoters and all that, it's because of Floyd Mayweather, because he's the one who's taken this exhibition concept and turned it into real money-making business, a money-making business at that. I mean, these guys are going to make millions and millions off of this thing. That's ridiculous. And without Floyd, it wouldn't have been possible, because exhibitions have always existed. Exhibitions have always been there. And the guys who came before Mayweather, the professional boxers, even Muhammad Ali, these guys were having exhibitions, but none of them were making as much money as Floyd Mayweather is. None of them were creating as much attention, about their exhibitions as Floyd Mayweather is. No one, none, until this guy Floyd Mayweather retired, and you can see what he's done. So, if anyone should get credit, really, it's Floyd Money Mayweather, because this guy has turned this into a whole different category. But now Mike Tyson is on the scene, fighting other old guys, in exhibition matches. Where do you think that's coming from? Where are all these guys harnessing the energy to start doing all these exhibitions? From Floyd Mayweather, when he started doing exhibitions after he retired. So I just want to mention that, okay? These guys, they always talk about all these things as if Floyd Mayweather is some kind of greedy guy who is just trying to steal money from people. Nobody forces people to watch. Clearly, people are paying and watching because Floyd Mayweather is entertaining. And that's what this is about, entertainment. And he gets the credit. Let's continue.
Like, for example, there's no reason on earth that we should not see
Crawford Spence.
versus Errol Spence. We should see that.
Yes, I get what you're trying to say, Stephen A. But Stephen A., you have to understand this. I'm going to repeat myself again. This is not a full-fledged professional boxing match. It's an exhibition, all right? Those guys you just mentioned, the two guys you just mentioned, they have their own things to do. They're still in their career is still going on. Floyd Mayweather is retired. This exhibition we're talking about here is a different. It's in a different room. It's in a different, it's in a different category to the one that, Crawford and his, the fellow boxers find themselves in. That's a different realm that they found themselves in. This has nothing, that has nothing to do with this. So you can't really correlate the two, even though obviously the energy from this adds to the other, professional boxers and boxing as a whole. But you can't take the concepts here and just add them to the real to the boxing scene, the professional boxing scene, because here you're talking about Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is the centerpiece. He's the one moving the pieces. That's why you're getting what you want to see. Okay, those other guys, they don't control their careers like a Floyd Mayweather does. They just don't. They don't have the cachet that Floyd does. They just don't. So they can't sometimes make the fights that they want. They have to go through their promoters. Floyd doesn't.
Okay, Anthony Joshua with Tyson Fury, we'll get that hopefully. But Wilder gets Fury for a third time again. Maybe Andre Ward will come out of retirement. Max, you'll know about that one day. I love Canelo Alvarez. He's my favorite fighter right now, and I think he's pound for pound #1 in the world. You want to see those kind of things. But when I look at this, and I just say to myself, a world-class, all-world champion like Floyd Money Mayweather, giving a YouTuber this opportunity, who's had one fight on his professional record, and then you last 8 rounds, that's going to give life to novices out there who don't belong in the same class as these guys to think that they can do stuff like this.
Yes, but Stephen A, again, it's an exhibition. It's an entertainment fight. All right, it's not a full. Of course, punches will be thrown. Of course, there's always going to be the danger of somebody catching the wrong punch and all of a sudden, you know, they get injured. But this is an entertainment fight. You can have two clowns who have had beef online get together and then fight and be on pay-per-view. It's not like a Canelo is fighting a Crawford or something like that. No. This is an entertaining fight, an entertainment fight in the category exhibition.
And I think that it's going to compromise the quality level of competition that we all salivate for when it really, really comes to boxing. As an aside, Max, just so you know, I don't know if you remember the former NBA player Kendall Gill.
Of course.
Yes. Kendall Gill and I spoke yesterday. He's been training twice a day for years.
Oh, yeah.
Boxing.
He's calling everybody out. Yeah.
Well, he wants Jake Paul. He's been calling Jake Paul out for a long time. He wants Jake Paul bad. Mm-hmm. An exhibition like that, I wouldn't mind seeing that, Jake Paul, assuming you get past Tyron Woodley. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I'll bet you we see that. I don't know if we see it next, but I'll bet you we see it.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think it was bad for boxing at all. I don't think it was a bad night. First,
and I agree.
Floyd Mayweather's retired, and he's never coming out of retirement.
Thank you. Thank you, Max.
It was not Floyd Mayweather in a professional prize fight. That was Floyd Mayweather in an exhibition, which he deemed entertainment.
You see what I'm talking about. That's what it's about. It's an exhibition. The guy is retired. The guy is finished with professional boxing. I don't think he's coming back. He's over 40 years old. He has so much money. There is no need for him to come back. This guy is making more, he's making such a huge amount of money, basically doing exhibitions without the real risk of boxing professionally, to the point where there is no need for him to come back. And Max here, he seems to understand it. So I don't understand why Stephen A doesn't really, get the gist of the whole thing.
He told everybody ahead of time what it was going to be.
He did.
This is no buyer beware. He told you. It's not like he sold you a false bill of goods. He told you. This is
no, he did not.
We're going to go out and have fun.
I agree.
That's what he did. Now, Logan Paul built up enough of a following, I would say, in social media, 20 million people, that he brings a lot of economic clout to events.
And he deserves it.
Bigger than Floyd. Floyd's been retired for years and everything. There was something about it that was intriguing. We can't pretend it wasn't. Who didn't want to see it? People bought it.
That Max makes a good point here, and I agree, because listen, I have gone online, I've seen online, I've been everywhere online, Instagram, Twitter, and all that, seen what people have to say about this, and people are just so negative for whatever reason. They think that Floyd is stealing money from all this. I'm like, no, he's not. People want to see him fight. They want to see him do things that he does, whatever it is, an exhibition, it could be on a TV show. Floyd Mayweather, he gets the attention that he gets people to watch him. And people pay their bucks to watch him. So I don't understand. It's not false advertisement. He says this. It's an exhibition way before, the match itself. So for people to go and try to make this into some kind of a negative thing, to me, it's just ridiculous. But let's hear Max continue to give his take.
Because this is all you need to know. Ding, ding, round one. You watching, yes or no? Floyd and Logan Paul? Oh, yeah, you're watching.
Me too.
That's all you need to know.
I watched it.
Anything else doesn't matter. And does it hurt boxing? Let me tell you, you brought up Rocky and Drago, right, Stephen A? That's not the right Drago reference. The right Drago reference is Apollo and Drago. What you don't want is that in an exhibition, right? Oh, no one got knocked out, and Floyd just kind of played with him after the second round and walked them down and kind of didn't really want to finish him, it seemed, and all that. Do we want the opposite? We want Floyd to kill him, right? Is that what we're looking at?
And this is the problem that I have right there. I think Max just touched on it. This is the problem I have. It's like people don't know what they want. On one side, they want to see a full-fledged boxing match where people are just hitting each other and want to kill each other. Okay? If Floyd is boxing, he's being defensive, people complain. All right? He's in an exhibition match. He's trying to basically, do things on his pace and take his time and, get people, give the people the entertainment that they paid for. And people are still complaining. It's like, what do you want him to do? Come on, people. It's ridiculous.
Do we want Logan Paul, rushed to a hospital in an ambulance?
No.
Is that what we're looking for? No, it's an exhibition. Were you entertained? Yeah.
I was very entertained.
By the way.
I was very entertained. Floyd Mayweather, whatever Floyd Mayweather does, is extremely entertaining. I was very, very entertained. I watched the fight online. I did watch it. I didn't pay for it, but, I got the fight. How I got it doesn't really matter, but I watched the fight online, and it was extremely entertaining. There is nothing like watching Floyd Mayweather does what he does, whether it's whether he's fighting Canelo or that Japanese guy, the little midget guy, or Logan Paul. The guy does what he does, and whatever he does, it looks pretty. He oozes the boxing. He emits that boxing energy, and it's brilliant to see. So yes, you get entertained whenever you watch Floyd, do what he does.
Good undercard, Hurd and Arias. That was an upset, real good fight. You got to see Ocho Cinco. That was a night of entertainment. Now, it was, you don't want to pay $50 the next time one of the Paul brothers fights or Mayweather. Don't do it. No one's forcing you. But I'll tell you this. There are some events people try to make, and the public's just like, I don't care. That wasn't this. People cared. I got no beef.
They care because of...
And that is what it's all about. People care. People care. People pay their money to watch, and they watch. You can't somehow make things to be bad just because you don't like the guy or whatever. Floyd, he is just that. Okay? People watch him. They want to see him do whatever he does. Floyd Mayweather can go to Japan. He can go to Russia. He can go anywhere and get some guy and do some exhibition match with him. And you know what? People are going to tune in. People are going to watch. And you know what I actually think happens here? A lot of people who actually criticize this guy so much, whatever he does, people just negatively, crap on it. These are the ones who actually pay their money to watch him, I think. And it's just hilarious to see, really. Give the guy the credit he deserves.
Paul, or they care because of Floyd?
Well, they cared because of the combination, but we can't ignore a dude with 19 million followers on Instagram.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, Logan would have had an exhibition with some guy and people would have tuned in, but not to the level of this when Floyd is involved. Floyd is the movable pieces here. Floyd is the guy. He's the reason why. He's the main reason why people tuned in. And of course, the undercut was also good because I was entertained to see all those guys fight. The guy Osachenko, moving like Muhammad Ali. It was actually good. It was entertaining. Overall, I gave it an 8.
Is what Logan Paul has. That's number one. Number two.
And he fought as hard as he could.
Tell me, I'm not knocking him. He did fight as hard as he could and what have you, and I get all of that. What I'm saying is that.
What are you saying?
When you look at Floyd.
Yes.
And the quality of guy that he went up against, and the fact that guy lasted 8 rounds. You're going to see a situation where folks out there are obviously thinking about making money. No crime in that. No crime in that.
No.
But they're going to continue. But I would remind you, the great, phenomenal Jim Lampley, Larry Merchant, and others lamented for years.
Those guys were nothing more than but Floyd haters, okay? The Jim, the whoever he just mentioned. Those guys, they used to get entertained by Floyd. Okay, I believe they had a crush on him. But every single time this guy had, the time came for Floyd to get his credit, those guys were just bitter as hell. 2 bitter bitches who would just bitch, moan, and complain about every single thing Floyd did. I remember the fight when Floyd Mayweather fought the guy from Mexico. What's the guy? What was his name? he knocked him out in the end because he got headbutted and all that. These guys, they just gave him the hardest time. It's like, no, protect yourself at all times. Victor something, you know? It's like, those two, no. Those two were never boxers. They never boxed. They've been in boxing for such a long time, as, you know, commentating and all that. But no, they're two bitter, white males who just didn't like Floyd for whatever reason. We all know why, but no. What they say is not relevant here.
And choosing the level of competition, it usually isn't the stiffest. And now it's been taken to another level. Because if I got YouTubers out there who ain't quite ready yet,
it's an exhibition. It's an exhibition, Stephen A.
And they're lasting. Excuse me, if I find the right opponent to entertain folks, I don't have to worry about getting in the real fights.
No one goes, Stephen A.
It's not a real fight.
I would understand that if the argument is, look, the boxing public only has so many dollars in terms of disposable income. They're only going to buy so many pay-per-views. And if they're spending money on this, that means that fighters who deserve it more, Terrence Crawford, they're not going to spend money there. That's not what's happening. This is not the boxing public that's buying these fights by and large. These are casuals. These are people who follow
Logan
Paul.
But that's when sports are really on another level. When they bring in the casual viewer, Max, not just
what
the avid followers.
What I'm saying is you're not soaking boxing fans here. They'll have disposable income for other fights. You're not taking that away from other fighters.
Debate to be continued. Back to the NBA.
Anyway, guys, that was a good segment, but just as an ending to the segment, people have to take it for what it is, an exhibition. And please, people have to give Floyd his credit, because this guy, whatever he's doing, is good for boxing. He's done so much for boxing, it's ridiculous. And I just found it a bit strange that people just had so much to say about this fight. All these jealous guys, former boxing champions and stars, and even guys from other sports like MMA, talking about how this is such, bad for the sport. Like, brother, focus on your own. Focus on MMA. This guy, African guy, is it Ngu or something? Francis Ngu, asking what he's doing wrong. What you're doing wrong, Francis, is that you are in the UFC and you guys are making a lot of money, but you guys don't even get, I don't know if you get even a big part of the purse, the overall, the overall revenue and all that. You guys don't. So it's not Floyd's problem. You're supposed to be talking to that guy, Dana White, and maybe come up with a fighting union or something. It's not Floyd's fault. Everyone is just, it's like Floyd becomes probably like the Donald Trump of boxing, where everything is just blamed on Floyd. Like, let Floyd do what Floyd does. Let him make money, okay? Let him entertain. If you don't like him, that's fine, but don't just be so negative about every single thing. Anyway, guys, that's it for the video, and, see you next time. So, with that being said, you have a good day.